Contact number of the body can be reviewed by the and the expenditure of the regular. Lakbiriba mayamda kanu takhan jage apai horse Moirang idamtadi matik chai atai disa dabina proposal ga candidate ka agency ga allow to jage takala ekanda oge aro dege apna lawla election is declared by specimen signatures in the election identity.
Ma'am, the kind of a man. I left side of the general observer, Moirang Sigi, Maming Dr. Mohammed Aziz Ahmed, Commissioner and Secretary, Government of Assam. Moirang Assembly Constituency INC candidate. My says 27 by 18 the second number section the hour and proposal होगा. तो I missing check तौरे and दूसरा मसी later होगा कुछ डले 27 by 18 दा. ना अपने ये नहीं किया होगा तो हमारा सेदा केस के आज जो एक्शन हुई है तो ये है ना लोग ये ना रोड पुटो
Election 这是牛了，
俺们不拉不进洞，还可以。
这是牛了。
election campaign with them the way say my market provide like that education qualification is me am say public name we can all lack my MBA see my highest can always see certificate in tung with the we are plus my say the dependent amateur like the have see Sumra Landra and dependent as of our knowledge is concerned, my mother lady dependent on our she's in the particular thing the young dependency in the user. See, the going concept of the market dependence in the logic. No, it's yourself, sell city, rental, you must see can in the rental now. MLA for honorable MLA the Pandro Malay and they Margie announcing number 242 rental with Malay. Madu information for this to the qualification election campaigning Canada to look at long of Tazava and the Yagadi document and the fencing the Tibrasi let my name when in the Pokda Mount community. My brother named my mother is still alive in Malay. Usually, affidavit my mandatory documents in candidates get the hand of the view on the day. As you know, the defendants in the be the furnished of the high information. Said we furnished of the symptom discussed.
I shall be like dependent ID, I'm still single. My brothers, my mother, my mother, he survived when died. My father's an answer. Dependent on the question number is to be dependent like they have a mother alive, but my mother survived when my father's cancer. I whatever I do property, show cash to that, not an issue at all.
My question is, Maxi is the Honorable MLC let my in the first and name. Person after my father Mutunda Mana, head of the family and knows entire. Mala head of the family like Mali brothers in see Mali dependent and don't pay from like one day.
My brothers were not major, but why? Minor of the coming and their own dependent on their own. I wife like 3, I have children like 8, and I have brothers into major happening. So I think there's no question of
the question being raised by my agent. I'm a candidate. He is my agent.
okay. Realizing objection.
The point raised by my agent is the candidate of Congress, the present sitting MLA, has 2 brothers after the demise of his father, and then he has a mother. What will be their position vis-a-vis the candidature of Mr. Prithviraj? Second, the issue raised by him, whether there is any business establishment being run, managed by his brothers or any dependent, any family member of the candidate. 2 issues. Then the third issue is whether there are documentary evidence to prove the educational qualifications mentioned in the nomination papers of the candidate. 3 things he has raised.
As far as the dependent is concerned, both my brothers are all major. They are no longer minor. So they are dependent on themselves. So I have no connections with whatever, they are not dependent on me. And as far as my mother is concerned, my mother survives on my father's pension. So since I'm single and I'm unmarried and I don't have any children, so I don't have any dependent. That is the reason. And as far as the educational qualification is concerned, yes, I think whatever I mentioned in my biodata, it's all true to my knowledge, and I will be ready to provide with the documentation anytime. Maybe I might take some time.
According to the instructions issued by the Election Commission of India, I think one has to release the documents in 1 day's time before the scrutiny, before the final list is. You may refer to the instructions, and 1 day's time may be given to the candidate in case they want to revert something. Issued by the Election Commission of India. Candidates handbook. Specific instruction is issued by the Election Commission of India.
Please do 64.
There are 5 mandatory documents mentioned in the Election Commission's instruction. And one of the requirements is that educational qualifications of the candidate. And in case the election agent or the candidate raises certain issues and the rebuttal is required to be done within a particular time frame before the 14th of this January in this case. This is 2009 handbook because we have not been given any handbook so far. But I think the Election Commission's letter states. See documentary evidence की नहीं होगा. Mandatory requirements situation. After that, clarification ni matang sudah pali bani. Rebuttal to kita board di. Hari kesempatan menunggu. I will di next 1 day kita ni available begitu saja to submit the rebuttal by the candidate. This is the Election Commission's letter attached to me.
That is, he will give the affidavit. But we better presume that all everything is not the truth.
See, affidavit city court commissioner decision law padina. Say the wrong informed the whether sumna to the appointed of the appointed not having a accept.
Point raised.
Our submission is that they give the wrong statement. That is a false statement regarding the dependents.
No. The key point is the issue being raised by us is, in case we are going to consider acceptance or rejection of a particular nomination paper filed by a candidate, then we have to raise certain issues that has to be clarified. Because there are grounds of rejection of a particular nomination paper in case false information was furnished and that too under oath, then will you still say that we have accepted it? So the Election Commission's instructions are very clear. It says that this clarification has to be furnished within the given time frame, and that's let down. It's not my submission. This is the instruction of the Election Commission of India. No, time for clarification has to be given. Please look at the Election Commission's instructions. And this clarification has to be given before saying that it is accepted. Time should be given, not out. Let us look at the Election Commission instructions. Okay. So I have gone through it. We have to furnish the document. We are asking because one of the mandatory requirements is educational qualification. No, educational qualification.
As far as the question raised by the agent and the candidates regarding the dependent, I have already clarified that they are all majors. They are no longer minor. They are all above 18. So they have their own stream. They survive on their own. And as far as my mother is concerned, I have repeatedly said that my mother does not depend on me. Any certification regarding educational qualification is concerned, I'm ready to furnish.
So give me the evidence.
No, it's not evidence. Evidence is not evidence. We are raising certain issues. One of the mandatory documents required is educational qualification. And that has been mentioned in the nomination paper. So my election agent has raised a specific question. He may be given time as per the instructions of the Election Commission of India. We are not saying that it should be rejected, but we wanted to satisfy ourselves that whether the information furnished in the nomination paper and that too by taking an oath is correct or not, because educational qualification is one of the mandatory documents required to be filed by their candidate. So please look at the para 12. So time for rebuttal may be given, but there is a time limit set by the Election Commission of India.
Point in both of these are very ability to form the trials or evidence of the mission. It's a
No, if you want that we should submit in writing, I'll be in writing now. We have raised this issue in presence of the observer, and the candidate has to explain, and that is required as per the Election Commission of India's instruction, and that is part of the Supreme Court judgment. So therefore, the candidate has to apply for time. It's not me to apply for time. We are raising an objection. It's not something to be explained by me. It's to be explained by the candidate.
As far as education qualification is concerned, I've told time and again that I'm ready to provide the certification any time, but it is sworn in front of the board commissioner, so that is an affidavit. So if there is any false data which the candidate is asking, that I have provided and I'm ready to accept the consequences. And as far as the question which was raised repeatedly regarding the dependent, I've told time and again that if you can just find out, and whatever election commission have preferred, that if minors are dependent, but they are not minors, so they are all majors, they are all crossed about 18 years of age. So I don't see any problem, and my legal advisor will also be here to explain certain things.
In that case, what I would suggest is, as per the direction of the Election Commission of India, the candidate may be given time till day after tomorrow. It is the instruction of the Election Commission of India. Till day after tomorrow. And that too, the candidate has to apply for time to revert any objection. The candidate has to apply for time, and a time may be given by the returning officer. Is the maximum time is till day after tomorrow, because today being the scrutiny day. No, that is why we are asking.
Please give him time to speak.
We
Subsequently, it's the decision of the returning officer.
Yes, document is submitted with the idea of form setting. One of them can have one. What do you think?
We are asking certain information furnished by the candidate to be substantiated, because this is something one cannot furnish false information. This is a mandatory requirement laid down by the Election Commission of India, educational qualification. Now we are raising this issue that since it is mentioned in the nomination paper under oath, we would like to see that the claim regarding educational qualification is substantiated, and the candidate has to submit explanation as per the instruction of the Election Commission. It's not by asking. Now, the candidate may seek time, but we cannot wait for months together. The Election Commission of India says, in case the date of scrutiny is today, the time limit set by the Election Commission of India is that day after tomorrow is the deadline by which time the rebuttal has to be submitted. So now it is for the returning officer to consider the issues raised by us and pass a judgment that yes, it is as per the Election Commission of India that you will be allowed time to submit the rebuttal and then substantiate your claim. As simple as that. We are not suggesting rejection. We simply wanted to understand whether this is a false information or true information furnished by a particular candidate. And in case this information is being raised by us as an issue, then certain clarification has to be given by the person who has furnished the information that, yes, this is my qualification. And it's not by saying, it's Election Commission of India saying.
Documentary evidence, P and a certificate, study, qualification certificate,
I can provide, not an issue. Otherwise, affidavit or
So what I would submit is, we will now give in writing, asking for this clarification, the documents mentioned in the nomination papers, so that the returning officer may give the candidate time as per the instructions of the Election Commission of India. We want to put things on record. So we will submit an application now, a request to the returning officer. These are the issues raised by the election agent of the candidate so-and-so, and the Congress candidate has been given time up to this to submit the rebuttal as per the instructions of the Election Commission of India. Please record that, as simple as that.
Objection to be an Tankale, Hanbo, dependent Matamdo, dependent or commissioner, no dependent hire. The candidate himself explained before us, dependent poetry. This question does not arise. Or I think I can question arise the train. Madam Dicay, no other given the court in a lane, judgment, peanut, carry the Urinina, Maduna Kona, and the Gikarigumba, appellant court, Amada, Mahuna. Such a appeal, such a ultimately before the jury, Shentok dependent late at the court commissioner, Ma dependent late, or taking to the candidate himself should clearly explain the man no longer dependent poetry, matter, or minor poetry, or as for qualification certificate, Madu, Mashidi, due to forgotten, Hydra, Aduga, Mashidisu, and close to Hydra, Lake Tavanina. Later, Venina, Madu, to port the candidate himself put open a high the question of the right of the head, and low there, you see. Tankaliba, I think is settled the low the pay, guiding low.
It's a very simple and clear case. I was
Nasi Bibi, Nasi, evening the Bibi of the city, the certificate saying, see, by minimum on the people question like you.
I didn't get
not a compulsory to submit a certificate of qualification. It was mentioned
in the nomination papers. this is part of the mandatory requirements and educational qualification being a mandatory requirement to be submitted by a particular candidate. In case we raise certain issues in the course of scrutiny of the papers, the Election Commission of India says that the returning officer may give the candidate concerned some time.
As far as the Election Commission of India is
Yes.
concerned, there is no educational qualification required for any election as far as the Election Commission of India is concerned. Number one, going to be noted. Number two, if whatever document which I have already furnished, as far as Election Commission of India is a false statement which has been given. So however, if any of my educational qualification documents are concerned, I'm ready to provide. So can we proceed? Can we listen to the returning officer?
Certain doubts need to be clarified. They have not understood.
I think the clarification is more than
They have not. They have
It's
not
a very
understood.
clear and simple case.
They have not understood.
It is as clear as clear water.
They have not understood the point raised.
The Election
raised by
Commission of
us.
India has not given any mandatory education qualification requirement in any of the elections. Going to be noted.
That is not the point we are raising.
If any, and the second point is any of my documentation required, I'm ready to provide, but it was not mentioned in the whatever the nomination papers that this paper should be attested or whatever should be enclosed. So that is the reason. So I think it's a very clear and simple case. So if it's up to the RO to kindly proceed, so let's not waste the time of the returning officer as well as the candidates.
See, perhaps there is some confusion in understanding the point raised.
So
by
there
us.
is no confusion at all. It's a
We are
very
not.
simple case.
We are
It's
not
very simple.
insisting. We
It's
are not
straightforward
insisting. We are not raising the question of educational qualification. We are simply
The Election
raising.
Commission of India does not
Please bear with me. I am explaining to the
does not give any educational qualification for any of the candidates in whatsoever elections.
See, the point being raised by us.
So my point out here is, Mr. Observer is also here, the returning officer is also here. In any elections till date, since India got independence, is there any cases where any of the elections which has been held, be it in the Gram Panchayat level, be it in the municipality elections, be it the MLA election, be it in the parliamentary election, any elections, any education qualifications are required. That is the point. And any of this qualification, education qualification is documented, never included of the nomination papers. So that was clearly written, which was not mentioned there. That is the reason which we have not brought our documents. But in case if it is required, then I'm ready to provide. So it's a very straightforward, simple case.
amaga aina thamjani ngamna nasari ko ML candidate ne suhare educational qualification de any qualification ko diya ya akhoina machine natra khoina B certificate machine delete or B certificate putho ke su ya man di kari dino hayo madun major or benate qualification di any qualification metric pass or su ya metric pass or su ya ko tamani na any certificate pa ya
Naibu question Ma BA pass to VI to the VI metric pass to VI that doesn't matter. The Queen Party 40 Man MBA in Harry she Chumibra have to Yemi and
But
documented
it will take time to procure the certificate.
No, I will be able to provide, not an issue. It's up to the RO, we have already explained. This is the same point, we're just beating around the bush. The same point has been repeated again and again. So please kindly, RO, please take the decision. We're just beating around the bush. Let's not waste time.
Queen Party 40 Man MBA in Harry she Chumibra have to Yemi and documented
it will take time to procure the certificate.
No, I will be able to provide, not an issue. It's up to the RO, we have already explained. This is the same point, we're just beating around the bush. The same point has been repeated again and again. So please kindly, RO, please take the decision. We're just beating around the bush. Let's not waste time.
the Ukraine Search and Rescue 27 NCP 27 by 20 serial number 768 which sector is Sumelo sector road. Money, my last part.
Number one. Ani sudah any other liability have to later with to explanation explanation later on sudah dependent kaya utpa kaya untuk yang hai nama
The resident address is the permanent Irembum Likai, Moirang POPS, Moirang District.
Residential
Serial number 768, elected will be part number 20.
Residential liability,
For past phase of our activity, we have built our residential address. It is very important to say right there. This was the first phase of the activity. We have already given the residence address.
Can you give details though? Can you
The point not obviously acceptable.
Makatawa question nito. Pwede i-handa.
Dependent tabak tawba haidi income lakta duda aina khanbada khar wat kum tawbra in khali only wife be the pilgra karigumba dependent sing ke thok to yaw dabra haiba tawdene lawgadoribra haibadu tawbu leibra leitabra hoi tawdene ulibidu how far trai bak chumage madoi ko dog boy everyone
Detail particular evaluation is young again.
Raise that point, but in the decision of the election commission, but there is not regarding the appointment of the dependents. That is only the movable, immobile, and that is the required for giving assessment. Regarding the service or non-service, that is not requirement in that. That is why we do not mention.
Yes,
affidavit magi maming of the Hareba. She so and so son of so and so and the residential of so and so the high, but in detail speak the wrong side canodo. The residential Kalamami Yauriba, residential buildings and the Kalamami Reva. That means magi details of the location surveys, that area is purchased or not, inherited. So and so details ka pideva. Other than nil line like with the page. Upon a hazard lay photo as I my mother the lay or
Just give it Just give it and then
yes, I do.
No, it's already given.
We have already mentioned.
It's already mentioned in the affidavit.
Please peruse.
All the details are
We want
furnished.
to take the copy and we may produce the copy.
Maybe you have not read. Maybe you have not read. But Aro might have.
After you have gone through and then you submit, please.
Aro.
So the candidate see Jose after retirement, he has worked as an administrator in Nestle Technology, which I believe is an office of profit. So is there any relieving letter of any sort from the particular institution?
Cannot like you know, so my candidate says my top tawri, after they have documents like this.
Book that we have basically masama sign to put it we show to them jagani that we not confirm the order su verification ko wala na order su national institute of technology in Kuala Lumpur karo kham ju kham du mani it's not a voluntary organization, it's not a this is an office of profit. He was drawing salary.
Let the complaint be raised, giving the documents. Let the candidate raise the complaint, raise the issue.
I'm
by furnishing the
raising the
document.
issue now.
And no, please furnish the document saying that I'm employee. As simple as that. As simple as that. We wanted documentary evidence suggesting that I'm an employee of any organization. Let there be a complaint in writing.
We want to know, is there any relieving letter of any sort from the particular institute? Since this is an office of profit.
It sounds little funny
It is
when
not funny.
when there is no document.
It is not funny, it is a fact.
When there is a
It is
document
a fact, the whole of the story is that.
saying that, look, here is an appointment order suggesting that this guy is still an employee of any organization. Let there be a complaint filed.
Still an employee or not, that is not a question. If any particular person has left any organization, there should be a relieving letter of any sort, be it in the public or the private sector. And as far as the Election Commission of India is concerned, no, there is a particular parameter which says that he or she should not hold any office of profit.
Yeah.
I think this is a very serious issue.
Noted.
It's acceptable.
Acceptable.
Thank you very much.
Weather is very pleasant.
You belong to which batch?
Yeah.
Which batch do you belong to?
I originally come to Andhra Pradesh. But I work
Andhra
in
Pradesh.
Assam. I work.
But he said that you're from Assam.
Yeah, I work in Assam.
You're working in Assam. Okay. Which batch?
95.
Huh?
95.
95 batch. 95 who are again?
Sajjad.
Sajjad Hassan. He was in England. Original location is India.
So we request all your cooperation.
Yes.
For small and peaceful conduct of measures.
Thanks.